CTE, Career Technical Education. The field of automotive is a CTE program. It teaches a career, it's a vocational education, and a skill that is not generally an academic, if you want to call it that. So where does CTE come from? Way back in the beginning of time, if you want to say that, around the 1900s, the education system was very rote. It was a memorization, and the public was not generally happy with that. The students were being taught information that didn't necessarily pertain to what they would end up going and creating a field or career in. So what the Department of Agriculture ended up doing is they actually set up in school and taught an agriculture class. They didn't teach it out of the book, if you wanted per se, I wasn't back then, but they planted some gardens, they took the students, they actually got their hands dirty and started to work the field. And what they realized is that this real life skill actually started to benefit the student later on in life. So from there, what started to happen is that they realized that this is actually a necessity, and some acts were passed. Now what do I say by an act? In 1917, Smith-Hughes Act was passed, and what this did is it provided funding for CTE programs. Agriculture would have been one of them. Today, automotive is one of them. We still have agriculture. So these fundings were started way back then. Along with the Smith-Hughes funding, there was the Vocational Act of 1963, which continued to provide more funding for career technical education. Today, I don't know if you may have heard of it, but I work with the Perkins Grant, and that was the Carl Perkins Act funding CTE programs, and that was started in 2006. So we can start to see that these fundings are there to provide and ensure that a career education is provided to students that choose to take it. So you may ask, how does this work? What are the standards involved in CTE? So if you grab your flyer, you'll see that every section or vocational education platform has a standardized area that they go through. This isn't the same as like core curriculum where everyone's taught the same thing. They're just actual standards that we would go by. And here in automotive, you may have heard of ARB, BAR. These are all standards that per the state, we are required to cover certain areas. Now, as an instructor, we can teach from our experiences. So my experiences are a lot different than Joe's experiences, and Joe's experiences are a lot different than Catherine's experiences. And we take those to you and we provide them to you for your career, and you will take from that what you want and grow on that and make it into your own special thing. So as we continue on, well, how does this impact you as a student? So you as a student, you're here in class, you're learning how a suspension system works, you're learning how to complete a repair order, and how to apply all this knowledge that you're learning. So from there, out in the field, when you actually get into the industry, this knowledge, these standards that you're taught actually help to guide you in doing the correct service for your customer, the correct job. You don't want to replace an emissions component that isn't approved by ARB, or you don't want to incorrectly fill out a repair order. So these are some of the standards that help to guide you in your path on your future career. So you might ask, why? How? What's so important? What do I do to bring people into this career that I love so much? Well, I spend a lot of my time out in the high schools. I do career days. I am guest speaker. I go in and I tell students a little bit about my career, some of the options that are there for them if they choose to pick a vocational education, because not everybody's cut out for maybe math